I would like to welcome our honorable panelists in our 5th edition of Gulf Travel Show under the theme of Sustainable Tourism. Our virtual panel discussion topic today is sustainability in hospitality. How much do we need to invest? This session will address the difficulties that arise while developing a green tourism strategy, equipping a country's tourism industry for a more responsible future. We can see that the change is happening in our travel industry, and that's the good news. Here, our panel expert will discuss the broader challenges being successfully met by them. In this session, we will interact with sustainable leaders who are operating with commitment to sustainability in tourism industry. I would like to introduce my panelists. So, first panelist, John Arnold. He is the most senior person in our panel discussion. And then, you know that John is very young in terms of, innovative technology in UAE, but he was the pioneer in waste management. I must say that John is a waste warrior. He is a pioneer in introducing a compost machine in the Middle East. And when he sold this 2010, the first machine, I was his buyer, So he convinced me, and it was a good decision that I converted 90% of my food waste from the landfill. So John, thank you for doing all this good thing, because I was the first, but now you have many hoteliers engaged in waste management. And thank you for doing all this good job and making the difference, My second panelist is a very well-known Kenyan girl in UAE, in the Middle East actually. We hotelier or people who are on the social media or on LinkedIn, they know her because of her multi-award winning habit actually. So every time I go on a LinkedIn, I can see that another award she's applauding, with her. So there are many awards, but the few which are the biggest one I would like to mention, that she won the Global Inspirational Leader Award, Best Women in Hospitality UAE Award, and a Super Duper Award, which was the Indian Super 100 Women Achiever in the Middle East. I love her because of her dedication, and she's the founder of ABC, which is working in India and Pakistan. She is working along with the United Nations World Food Program. There are a list of things which I wanted to say about her, but I think that time is short. Definitely, we will listen from her. And my third panelist, our youngest panelist, Margarita. She's engineer. She's sustainable development expert, business development in a company in Dubai. Very much engaged in sustainability, and Margarita holds a degree as an agriculture engineer, and she has 10 years of business development experience in China, Spain, and in the Middle East. And for last 2016, she is in Dubai, working actually focused on sustainability, especially in energy and waste management. Now for last 4 years, she's involved with the Energy. And Margarita is driving the expansion and implementing the thermodynamic solar panel system with many hotels in entire UAE and even beyond this region. By now, I think that she's engaged more than 150 projects in the UAE, to many of which Margarita has given her contribution. So we are proud of her achievement. In such young age, she's doing amazing job. Thank you very much for all of you being with us in this amazing panel discussion, and I'm proud that I have 3 experienced panelists along with me. So I will start actually with the first question to my favorite leader, Roxana Jaffer. I learned a lot from her. Every day what she's doing good in sustainability. So Roxana, tell us that that the business case of sustainability. What is in it for the business and in the community at the same time? Because you're engaged all the time in community events, so we just wanted to hear from you, Roxana.
So your question is, what's in it for the business and the community at the same time?
Yes.
I'm going to answer your line with one little story that I heard on a presentation made not at a sustainability conference, but at a public conference. And it stuck in my mind. And the lady said, if I were to cook 3 cups of rice, would I add 3 cups of salt in it? No. It would be just maybe a teaspoon, a small pinch. But that little salt makes a great impact, makes a great difference to the taste of that rice. If you didn't put that, how would it be? Then she continues with saying that, the light bulb that we have, right? Maybe it's a ratio of 1 to 5,000 or 3,000 in a room that is however big. But once it's switched on, it dispels all the darkness. One little light bulb makes a huge difference to the room, and so that you can listen to me and see me, and I can listen to you and talk to you. So if I become that salt of the earth and the light of the world, the little me has the ability to make big things happen. Yes? So if that is my analogy, and I think that should be the analogy for sustainability everywhere, is that if you were to do even something small anyway, it could be at your home, you could teach it to your domestic help, you could teach it to our working colleagues, you can talk it to our greater stakeholders to say that, you know what, let's just do one small thing, because that little ripple is going to have a bigger effect. And we must not shy away from thinking that we are so small. Yeah. We are small in the magnitude of the impact we're making. And that is the important thing. So with your question, what's in it for business and the community at the same time? If I put something into my business strategy, I know that it's going to make an impact outside. It's going to make an impact for my people, because my people who work for me will suddenly become more socially responsible.
Absolutely.
Right? And if they, so when we talk about corporate social responsibility, how socially responsible is a corporate if the people are not?
Yes.
So I go to the grassroots, and I'd like to teach everybody.
Roxana, thank you for this answer.
Pleasure.
No, I mean, my next question is to my mentor, John. John, you are very much engaged, with different companies to invite them to take, actually, it's not for a business, but I know that your motto is to convert actually all the waste which is going on the landfill. What are the challenges the companies go through to integrate sustainability? Because you are meeting with the GMs, with the CEOs, with the owner of the company. So what are the challenges that companies go through to integrate sustainability? And where to start from? Like, what is the best approach to gain the internal buy-in? So we just wanted to hear from you.
Well, thank you, Iftikhar, for that nice introduction. And you're boosting my enthusiasm by the minute. Let me say to you, I've been living in UAE now for 22 years.
Wow.
Prior to that, I visited here for 10 years. So it's about 32 years of exposure to the GCC and the broader Arabic region. Now, I brought with me 22 years ago packaging for the food industry. That's what I was specializing in. And I brought a lot of those packaging items from Australia, because packaging for the food industry back then was fairly difficult. But anyway, that expanded, and it came to my retirement. And I retired in 2010, and I decided that it's time to start a new company. And I started Green Good Ecotech in Jebel Ali Free Zone, and that company specializes in compostable packaging products. And back in 2010, people said, what is that? Well, now it's on everybody's lips. We need compostable packaging for the food industry. And along with that, I introduced compostable aerobic composting machines. And one of the first customers in the UAE, in fact, the whole GCC, was Mr. Iftikhar Hamdani with the Ramada Hotel. Congratulations, Iftikhar. From that particular point, it set alight an electric light bulb, as you were saying, Roxana. The electric light bulb switched on and other people said, what is this? We must come and have a look at this composting. And hotels from the region and also from the GCC came to visit the hotel at Ramada Hotel in Ajman, and talked with Mr. Iftikhar about what he was doing. Well, it was certainly a revolution. And bit by bit, companies and hotels and organizations have grown to the new step of expanding their vision on composting. And composting aerobically is the way it's traditionally done worldwide and has been for years. But with these machines, we turn that into a very fast process of let's do it all in 24 hours, very quickly. And then let's use that compost in the sandy soil to energize the sandy soil to grow new crops and vegetables or energize the landscaping. It all works. And since those early days in 2010 and now in 2022, there's probably around 600 to 700 machines operating in the GCC.
Oh, well done.
And that's quite an achievement. And one of the latest, yes, thank you, Iftikhar. And I guess one of the latest success stories is in Abu Dhabi. You've probably all heard of Jotan Paints. They make paint. And of course, the subject is, how does the idea of composting food waste generate into management? Well, it has to start at the top. Top management has to have a sustainable approach, and they have to look at the environment more from dollars and cents, but really doing something for planet Earth. Now, I look at it from the point of view that this is the way things have got to start, top down, rather than the bottom up, because I'll explain what happens from bottom up in a few seconds. From the top down, let's take Jotan Paints in Abu Dhabi. They decided at management level, they had to be more socially responsible. They have 600 staff at the factory in Abu Dhabi, and they cook a very robust lunch for all the people there working at the plant. And they decided they should have a composting machine, and with that, use the compost within their landscaping area in the factory complex. Well, from that particular point, 6 to 8 weeks ago, they made an international web statement to all of the world, and they have about 32 factories around the world. And they made the statement on what they were doing with photographs and demonstrations, and from that they got an immediate response from their international group of factories saying this is something we want to follow. So that means that management at the top can lead the way. Okay, then you take it from another point of view. If lower level management have an idea, usually they take it to the top and they say, the top says, I want an ROI on this and it has to be 3 years or throw it out. Okay, that's a tough order. But the ROI, in my opinion, and it's one that I can share with everybody else, the ROI cannot be measured in dollars and cents. The ROI is planet Earth. That's what we're trying to say. And if every little effort that's put into saving planet Earth is put into the effort of doing something, it doesn't have to be composting, it can be the light bulbs, it can be reducing the use of paper, can be reducing the overall consumption within a corporation, a company, or a hotel. And all of those things are very, very important. So planet Earth is the ROI, in my opinion, rather than dollars and cents.
Of course, yeah. John, I think that you're absolutely right, because every time we measure actually commercially, and nobody is thinking responsibly, you know. Like, for example, when we discuss with owners, everybody look at only one objective, and that is a commercial. And I do appreciate that one. I mean, after the retirement, you have started a new life, and that new life is really winning edge for you. The reason, because every day you are convincing people. I mean, it's hard to convince people when it comes no to the capex. I know that this question is for Margarita, I mean, our young panelist, but you know that it's very hard actually to get actually approvals and all these kind of things. But despite that, you never give up, you know. So I do appreciate your good job. Your team, especially Amish and all of them, you know, are amazing people. And then once you start your day, I mean, actually you are contributing to the society, you know. So we do appreciate your all good things. And now my next question is to Margarita. I mean, Margarita is very much engaged, same like you. I mean, to convince so many people. I hope that she will convince me and my owners also on thermodynamic. I'm very much convinced actually. But my question to you, Margarita, is that the owners and investors often are not convinced with sustainability. And the reason is heavy capex, you know, investment, and especially when it comes to your product, you know. So of course it's a big investment. So because you're already dealing with so many people and 150 projects in overall in UAE, it's not a small number. So how to convince and involve owners so that they can become equal stakeholders, like the other people like Roxana, like John, and yourself also. So how to get them in our club, you know, Margarita?
First of all, thank you very much, Iftikhar, for your kind of words. And it's my pleasure to hear in the panel with John and Roxanne. So it's my pleasure today. So it is a very good question, actually, Iftikhar, about, but there's no magic equation here, actually. But in the fact, the hotels have several issues in terms of the operational cost, the energy generating systems are often quite old, and they require a lot of maintenance, or directly need to replace for the new ones, okay? But those problems affect directly on the comfort of the guests. Otherwise, they start to complain because of the AC doesn't work, or there is not enough water in the tap, or the water in the swimming pool is too cold or too warm, or depends on the summer or in the winter seasons, of course. So or the hotel management start to compensate and give the guests service bonus in the hotel or discounts on the meals, which is nice, but does not really address the issue that they have. And all this reflect in the cash flow, right? At the same time, the engineering teams try to solve this issue as much as they can. But now that each building has a target to be more sustainable, okay? But from the sustainable point of view, the decision makers like operators, general managers, engineers, they should have the responsibility to search at the real option, which give you that confidence to apply any kind of LEED certificate or reduce operational expenses and also reduce the carbon footprint in or your operations in the building. But of course, this solution will be easy to work with a normal daily basis, right? But still, the hotel is a business model and they need to generate profits, because at the end of the day, the owner wants a profit from the hotel, right? So from the owner's point of view, they want to see if this investment making sense or not in the financial sense, of course. So thinking about for the renewable and alternative energy system that and don't actually work, that is very important. But we need to show them in clear business case and not transparent information in detail about the sustainable solutions are often also more cost efficient. That is the key requirement. Otherwise, the owner or investor will never implement anything. And of course, the numbers need to be correct and they need to show that the owners can save money. That is very important, savings. But of course, there is always additional invest which come on the top of the normal operations. So the ROI and the short payback period are the key of the owners. So if it's too high or the owners or is the short on cash, we can offer angry solution options, right? But sometimes it doesn't really take the decision because it doesn't delay, it takes time. But so some owners avoid this and rather keep going with some quick fixes, which mean long-term issues, while a long-term solution requires short-term effort, but then you have a long-term satisfaction. And you put overall to the ship. But this is one thing. But other thing is like when we find the case in the building, the infrastructure does not have conditions to carry out renovation. So in the end of the day, we don't have what is the magic equation, how to convince the owner, because everything is relative.
Margarita, thank you very much. Very good. Now I will go to Roxana. My very interesting question for you. You know that when you are doing all the good things, community jobs, sustainability, all this green initiative, team building, my question is that can like all these activities as sustainability influence on customer also, like on their decision to go only to Roxana Hotel, not to the neighboring hotel? Because when you do all this sustainability, how much customers are really interested to come and to stay with you, you know?
Yeah, that's a very tough question. I know you ask good questions, but it's a tough question because in Barsha, where we are, there is about 73 hotels. Okay, it's a very small enclave and 73 hotels, and I think it's about 14,000 rooms, give or take. We're a 310 room hotel. We are competing with that many rooms, and if you lose getting the person to step in today, we've lost it for the year. You know what I mean? You need to make sure that we're booking every day. So yes, and I think sustainability can be one driver. It can really be one driver, because today we're not dealing with our forefathers who were very much loyal to a brand. So they would only go to maybe an Accor brand, or they would only go to an IHG brand. Or today it's the millennial we're talking about. The millennial looks at our website. They want to know how responsible we are.
You are doing all these sustainable things along with your team. It's a two-way, you know. So education not only for the internal customer, which are your staff, but at the same time you are educating guests also. I'll give actually, you know, one minute to each one of you to recap if you still want to say something. So I'll start with Margarita. I mean, if you want to say something just like in 1 minute, not like more than that, because we don't want to take longer time actually. So if you want to recap whatever we have a discussion, you know, in just 1 minute.
Actually, that is very important. Thank you very much. Actually, I want to say something added to Roxanne, because it's very important, the transparent information that the hotel gives to the customers. Because now customers like to put in social media, now we are less plastic on hashtag. So now actually operators love this kind of hotels that they show in details about what they are doing in sustainability, because sustainability is not one topic, it's a journey that you can do activities in the hotel itself to reduce water, to optimize water, but at the same time, just to add it, that the big impact in the hotel is to implement a big system solution, renewable energy in the building. So this is a really added that activities are very good and transparent and encourage the people to book in these kind of hotels, but as well in the point of view of the operation in the building, they need to invest as well in the sustainable solution. That is very important. And sustainability is a journey.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
John.
Margarita.
Thank you, Margarita. John.
Yes, I have one important point, and I think from the tourist industry, you have to realize that tourism generates 8% of the carbon footprint worldwide.
Wow.
Now, that's when you put it into a simple way of looking at this. If you take a flight from UK and visit Dubai, the person traveling generates enough carbon that has to be offset in some way. One simple way of offsetting is planting a tree. But for the person traveling from, say, UK to Dubai, you need 77 trees to be planted. If you look at a plane load of people of 400, that's 31,000 trees. And they have to be looked after, and that needs water. So globally, the industry of tourism is creating huge amount of carbon that all of us have to look at in a way in which we can be responsible and have views and opinions of how to correct that and put in systems to eliminate the carbon footprint.
Wonderful. John, I think that I love your statement that we need to offset. I mean, sometimes people, they go to church and mosque and synagogue, you know, I mean, to offset actually their sin. And similarly, when we are adding actually sins in anti-environment, I think it's a responsibility to offset by taking the right sustainable things even in our individual life, in a corporate life, and even the government, they have to come forward also. The last 1 minute, Roxana, for you.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm not going to say anything much more, but just end with a quote from Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, who was our father of the nation. And how sustainable was he so many years ago when he made this into a tourist industry? Did he even think that 8% of that was going to be, we are going to be the givers of the carbon footprint? But what he said is, our land and in the sea, our forefathers lived and survived in this environment. They were able to do so because they recognized the need to conserve it, to take it to only what they needed to live in, and to preserve it for succeeding generations.
Wonderful. Wow. What a statement. Wow. I loved it. I loved it.
Thank you. That's him.
What a great, I mean, thank you very much. And at the last, I just wanted to pay a special thanks for the coordination from Tref Talk. And finally, we had, organized such an amazing panel discussion. Thank you very much. And we will have many more in future. Thank you very much. And we want to say special thanks to Tref Talk for organizing such an amazing event. And I hope that it will be making the difference, Thank you.
Thank you.